Hello and welcome to the show. Today, I decided to tackle a challenge. There are some people who listen to the show who do not believe that sales and business development skills can help you improve your career, improve your lot as a parent, or improve your lot in whatever it is that you are trying to achieve that is significant to your life, or whatever significant goals that you're trying to achieve. So today, I decided to pick the most left field discipline that I can. And so I'm going to look at how sales and business development skills can benefit people in the AML space, the KYC space, and monitoring analysts in banks. So now let's define some terms because some of you are wondering ABC what, XYZ what. So the words that I'd used were AML. That just means anti-money laundering. And then KYC, know your customer, and then transaction monitoring. Now, there are lots of people in Nigeria who work in banks and financial institutions who have these job roles, and they're often focused on looking for suspicious activity. Now, of course, we know that with the history that we've had in Nigeria, 419, corruption, all these sorts of things, these sorts of job roles have been on the rise, including, is it risk management or risk mitigation or something like that? But today, I'm just going to focus on the anti-money laundering crew, the know your customer crew, and the transaction monitoring crew. Now, the reason why I'm picking on them is not just because this is topical and you and I know people who work in these fields in banks. In fact, you probably have a relative who works at the bank carrying out these kinds of functions, but also because these are people who have no customer facing function. Well, at least not directly. Because when you go into the bank, you speak to the customer service person. That person is liaising with you. They have a customer facing function. The anti-money laundering people, the KYC, know your customer people, transaction monitoring people, typically they sit behind the desk all day. They're looking at files, they're looking at computer programs, Excel sheets, ledgers, whatever, and trying to figure out, this 100M that hit this guy's account. Is it because this guy is a 419er? Is it a legit transaction? What are the probabilities that this is legit? And should we flag the police? Should we flag the EFCC? For those of you who are not Nigerian, the EFCC is the Economics and Financial Crimes Commission. So you could say it's some part of the equivalent of the American FBI. So so that's why I'm picking these people, because they have no customer facing functions, and I want to show how any knowledge that you have of sales skills and business development skills can help you, even if you're in a job role that does not involve interacting with the end customers. So, sales and business development skills are important for anti-money laundering people, know your customer people, transaction monitoring people, people who are trying to look out for financial crime. It's important to you because it gives you more impact on the job, because sales and business development skills will help you with communication skills and relationship building skills, and would also help you to be more persuasive, because it's going to help you submit your findings to colleagues, because you have to present complex information and you also have to influence decisions or gain some buy-in. Now, this is not all grammar, because we've all heard of, some of us who are much older, I think it was, my secondary school anyway, into university. Well ahead of I can't remember the bank. No, not Credit Suisse, but it was one of these big banks that had a huge trading division, and there was somebody there who was running bad trades that was costing the company money, and people, I think it ran into close to billions of dollars, and people were all up in arms about, like, how can you have this guy who is a trader in your establishment making all these bad deals, but yet nobody knew. Nobody said, look, let's look into this. The transactions here might be shady. Now, the thing is, it's not that nobody knew, because let's face it, if there's somebody in the business, or if you work in a bank and there are people who are passing all kinds of money left and right and here and there, and things look shady, it's not that nobody knew, but that the people who knew didn't think that they had the power or the authority or the persuasive skills to make this thing a red hot agenda, bring it to the people on the board, bring it to the exco, bring it to the head of department or whatever, and say, look, Oga, we definitely need to look into this. because of this, and that. Now, those are the things that sales and business development skills can help you with if you're in an anti-money laundering role, or if you're in a know your customer role, or if you're in doing transaction monitoring because you're watching out for fraud. You're going to have much more communication skills. You're going to be much more persuasive. You're going to be able to present your findings to your colleagues or to your departmental chief or chairperson or chairlady or whatever, and you're going to be able to gain buy-in. Now, sales and business development skills are also going to help you build trust with internal stakeholders, because people who work in these kind of roles, anti-money laundering, checking up on fraud and things like that, they often have to work with people in compliance and legal. Compliance, those are the people who are trying to make sure is everybody following the rules. So let's say you work in Ministry of Finance or CBN and there's a compliance department. Then the compliance people in CBN are the ones who are going around. CBN, for those of you who are not Nigerian, that's the Central Bank of Nigeria. I think that would be the equivalent of the American and the UK Fed. So you work in the CBN and you're in the compliance department. Your job is to make sure that you go around, you look at banks, you make sure that all their capital ratios are in check. How much money do you guys have in the vault? How much money do you guys have to settle claims? Let's see what else. What is the ratio of the amount of money that you've lent out to the amount of money that you guys still have in vault, so that if you need to settle any claim, those sorts of things. Forgive me if I'm using the wrong term, because I'm a layman here. But I trust that you guys are getting the gist of what I'm trying to say. So, people who work in anti-money laundering, fraud, transaction, blah, 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 you always have to work with compliance people. Compliance people are trying to figure out, is everybody following the rules? And then legal. Legal is also part of compliance. Is everybody following the rules? Have things been set up correctly? So you find out that if you work in transaction monitoring or know your customer, you find that you not only have to deal with people within your department, your departmental chief, your departmental head, your colleagues, your fellow analysts, but you also have to deal with people across the aisle in compliance and legal. So there'll be times that you have to stand up, carry a file or a folder, and go to people in compliance and say, hey, look, Kunle or Sadiq, Ahmed, this is a red hot issue. I think we should flag this. We have to go after these people. We have to do compliance. We have to do institute court action, or we have to go and chase them with police and, blah, blah, blah. So you have to be able to build trust, build influence, and be able to gain buy-in, not just from people in your department, but people in other departments as well, so that you can be effective. And those are the reasons why, when these things hit the news, rogue traders in the West or maybe in Nigeria, huge cases of corruption, it's not as if people didn't know. But there's someone in the department who knew that, look, this thing seems fishy. Billions of naira is just moving here and there, any which way. But they figured, who am I? Lowly me. I don't know how to build the case. I don't have influence. I'm not connected, blah, blah, blah. And so sales and business development skills can help you be more effective in doing your job. Of course, sometimes people who have these sorts of functions, monitoring, KYC, know your customer, sometimes in the limited cases, they do have customer facing functions. And that is where they have to negotiate or maybe educate people on KYC things. Because it's not my favorite call when I receive a call from the bank saying, can you come and update your BVN, or come and update this, come and update that, blah, 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 blah. And of course, it's a very frustrating thing to do, because I'm thinking, like, I set this up months ago. I've already updated it twice. Why do I have to come back again? Blah, blah, blah. So people who are in this job role, they need sales training so that they can be calm and, educate the clients that, yes, you may have done this and done this, but this might have been done incorrectly. We need to do this properly, because if you don't do this, it creates avenue for fraud here, 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 and here. And this is how people can steal money from your account. So if you do not have customer service training, sales and business development training, and you work in these sorts of roles, you're going to handle these conversations poorly, because I have family members in the past who have been contacted by these sorts of people. And at the end of the day, you rant, you complain, everything. And they just say, look, I'm sorry, ma, you have to come in because you have to come in. And unfortunately, if that's your attitude, you have to come in because you have to come in, the rate of compliance that you're going to get is quite low, because people are frustrated. They have lots of things to do with their lives. It doesn't seem like it's important. And you just say, come in because I say so. chances are you talk to 100 people, who knows, maybe 90 people are going to ignore you. But with the proper training, you're able to calm people down, you're able to be personable, have a conversation, you're able to educate them on why this is important, why that's important. And who knows, you might be able to talk to 100 people and maybe get 50 to come in. It's better than having 80 or 90 people ignore you. So, in summary, the main benefit if you work in a bank and you work in anti-money laundering, know your customer, transaction monitoring, fraud, all these sorts of things. Maybe you listen to the podcast, but you think, look, all these things don't is not important to me. These are skills that I'm not going to use. The most important thing is this: by listening to shows like this and listening to these sorts of looking out for this kind of content, you're going to gain skills in strategic communications, and it's going to make you result focused. So yes, focus on your technical expertise. How do you read graphs? How do you read fundamentals? How do you flag fraudulent behavior? Blah, blah, blah. But also pay attention to these sorts of things, because how do you communicate strategically? How do you build influence? How do you do cross-border collaborations or cross-departmental collaborations? All those sorts of things. So everyone, and believe me, everyone can get better with sales training and business development training. If you're not convinced, then no problem. Connect with me, tell me what you do, and I'll make a podcast episode showing you how you can be better doing your job with sales and business development training. So connect with me on the socials, most especially LinkedIn, where I spend most of my time. My name is Tavishima Ayede. I'm the host of the show. You can confirm the spelling of my name from the link where you're listening to this episode. My email address will be there so that you can hit me up if that's how you prefer. Also connect with me on WhatsApp. My phone number is 080-6466-2140. The country code is +234 for those of you who are not Nigerian. You can hit me up on Telegram. To be honest, I rarely check that, maybe once a month. But if you hit me up on WhatsApp, I can assure you, send me a message today, last. Tomorrow, you'd have gotten a response from me. So thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.